We're going to go over the running back contracts. So Saquon, Josh Jacobs, and Tony Pollard are the big players in this kind of conversation. There was a Zoom call with all the running backs on it. Derrick Henry was on it. Eckler was on it. Jonathan Taylor's not happy. But basically, Saquon agreed to a 1-year, $11 million contract. And includes a $2 million signing bonus. And the guaranteed pay on the deal is the same as it would be as if he was signing the franchise tag. But the Giants agreed to add another $900,000 in incentives so that Barkley can earn up to $11 million. $2 million is paid up front. But here's the thing. When I looked at the incentives, he makes $303,000 for each if they're hit. Okay. So 1,350 rushing yards plus a playoff berth. He's never done that. Okay. 11 touchdowns and a playoff berth. He's done it once in his career. 65 receptions and a playoff berth. He's done that once. So it's like, I get like them adding the $900K to like be like, yo, like we understand it's kind of like screwed. Like here's a bone. But the issue is my thing is like those incentives really aren't that like they're not likely. So it's like, did he do this just to make it look like he was getting more than what the tag was? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, see, that is just a weird situation over there. And also the whole thing with the 1,350 rushing yards and the playoff berth never done. And now you need to do it this year and with the health concerns. Like, dude, it's an interesting question, bro.
Yeah, I guess my thing is just like, Saquon to me never really seemed like he was going to sit out. Like that's not, and I think he like wants to be on the Giants. That's the difference I feel like between like Saquon and Josh Jacobs. Like I feel like Josh Jacobs, like he likes the team, but I think he's more set on like, yo, like you need to pay me. So like I have more on Tony Pollard than I have on Josh Jacobs, but I don't know if you remember like on that Monday, like the story came out that Josh Jacobs was sitting in the car with Max Crosby, like ready to hear about like the deal being done, and it didn't get signed. So Josh Jacobs to me is the guy that won't show up. Like I don't think he's going to show up, or if he does, he's going to hold in and like some mysterious injury is going to happen. I honestly see I feel like the Cowboys are the least like affected if Tony Pollard doesn't show up. Like the Giants would have been, in my opinion, screwed without Saquon. The Raiders will be screwed to a certain extent too, because it's like Samir White.
No, I think that was what I was going to say about to that point, bro. The Raiders, yeah, I think the Raiders almost, Josh Jacobs is kind of, he's looking at him, he's like, look, I'm a leading rusher. I'm the reigning rusher. Y'all need me, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially with this situation of this team right now in the AFC, all the money that's invested in the team. I'm sure he's like, you know what? I have leverage. I actually have leverage on this situation. Versus, and again, the other point, like, Saquon already Saquon folded. So it's like Saquon, and that's what.
But it's like he folded, but he really didn't have an option. Like go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. Well, it's like, bro, this is where I'm starting to, and I'm going to go off on a little tangent here, bro. But because it needs to be addressed. And I know I am by no means the first person to address it. I won't be the last one. But it's a discussion that has to be had until it's drilled in people's heads, bro, because this is where we're at nowadays with football, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so a lot of things to say. I'm going to try to say it in shortest time as possible. So again, it's like Saquon folded, right? I'm going to say that in quotes. Like, oh, Saquon folded. I know I just said that because I'm just at this point regurgitating what the masses are saying. But here's my thing is, like you said, at the end of the day, he really didn't fold. He actually got a good deal with a lot of money, a lot of US dollars going in his bank account, right? And that's the point. This is kind of where the running back position has become nowadays. And I'm sure this was almost part of the discussion. It's like, look, dude, you're going to have to feel me out. Yeah. I'll give you top dollar like they did every year for as long as I'll give you that guaranteed money for the year. All right, cool. For 1 year, keep doing this every year. I'll keep giving you that money. But it's like, and I'm sure it's like, this is where teams are starting to feel like nowadays, where it's like, why would I give you the most injury prone player almost at any position, any sport? Why would I guarantee you a ton of money? Whereas instead, I'll guarantee you a ton of money for 1 year if you have a really good year. But I'm not going to sit here and promise the future when you could at any point literally walk away from me. And it's like, this is where things are getting out of hand because all these old running backs, like I'm getting referenced, like, well, you need bell cows. Bell cows. Let's be real for a sec. When's the last time a bell cow back has won anything for their team more than a conference championship? Because, and again, this is what I've been thinking a lot recently.
Not in the modern day.
That's what I'm saying. And like any time in the modern, anything like post 2008, 2009. So even just like super modern. But the point is, in the last decade is obviously is a trend we're heading in. Things change over time. That's how things have changed, right? And I was telling you, I've been going on my binge recently, right? My Super Bowl conference championship binges. You know the number one thing I notice about every team that's winning? I swear to you, it's literally the first thing I notice. I'm like, I don't remember any of these running backs really because, oh, that's right. Because, I'm like, that's the point. They usually play short careers, short stints. They get used for the team. And there's usually, this is the main thing too, I want you to remember, bro. It's usually like a dual or triple back system. They always just like that for the teams that are in these positions because you have versatility. Why would you just want one guy that the defense can game plan for?
Yeah.
That makes it actually just makes your job harder. Like it should, I think as from a good coach's perspective, you want to have 2 or 3 guys out of the backfield.
Right.
Makes it much harder to study each play. You have to have each personnel be different for each. It just literally, it makes the defensive coordinator's job harder when you're using more than one back. Just from a basic standpoint. So not only it's like, are we moving away from it because why would I guarantee one guy a ton of money? But all these teams look at the dual back, triple back systems with these, I'm not saying no name guys. They're all incredible players. They're all in the NFL. They're all legendary.
Yeah.
But in terms of NFL players, no name guys. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Where you're looking, you're like, oh, okay. But that's the point is they were good players. They're productive players. It was for a short time.
Right.
If he gave them a 500, if we gave them a $50 million contract for 4 years after they had a great game in the Super Bowl, it would look like shit the next year. And that's the point. Is like, that's where we're at nowadays, bro.
Yeah.
You got to produce year to year.
I almost wonder if it's more worth it for running backs to sign like high value, like 2-year deals. Like I think the days of running backs getting very expensive, like long-term contracts are done. I think what they need to start doing, okay, give me 28 million for 2 years. I would say a team would probably be way more comfortable doing that than signing a 4-year deal. I saw one of the running backs said this. I can't remember who it was, so don't quote me on this. But basically, I don't think it would work. But they were saying get rid of like the position delegations for the franchise tag, and players would be more willing to sign them because instead of like, running backs getting 10 mil, they probably get closer to like 30 mil, which I think gives teams a better like less incentive to use it because it's like you got to put it on a good player. And I just want to point this out. Tony Pollard did sign his franchise tag. I didn't know if I made that clear, but he did. So it's just Josh Jacobs unsigned right now.
No, and no, okay, so no, you did make it clear. So, and this is the thing I want to say too, bro. It's a great point you just brought up because genuinely, the franchise tag the way it is pretty foul.
Yeah.
Like, again, I literally remember playing Madden for the first time. I was really young and first understanding how football works and everything. I shit you not, bro. I still remember. Like, I'm like doing the franchise mode and I'm like, franchise tag? You're telling me I can just force him to stay another year? Like, cool. I'm going to use that all the time. And I'm sure the owners feel the same way. Like, and to your point, yeah, it costs a lot of money a lot of times and you have to use it the right way. But that's the point is the way it works now, there certainly is a right way and a wrong way.
Yeah.
If you force teams' hand and be like, it's literally everybody's has the exact same thing. It's the exact same one for everybody. That I think just makes it a fair playing field.
Yeah. I just think like also, bro, it's like it really muddies a locker room if you like tag a guy and then tag him again and then like let him walk. Cause it's like then if you're on that team, like no one wants that tag. Also, I think my thing is too, I don't like the fact that like if you don't sign the tag, you basically are still stuck on that team. Like, I don't like that. Like,
that's
if you
the
don't
leverage
sign
that it has.
That's so stupid to me because, like, if you don't sign the tag, you should be able to free. I mean, like, think about it. Josh Jacobs, they declined his 5th-year option, but they're going to give him the tag, but he can't go anywhere else. Like, you basically just said you didn't believe in me, and now I'm stuck here another year because you want to put the tag on me. I think it's kind of ridiculous. I think they gotta do something, but I don't know. Like, I know the CBA, like, pulls a lot for player safety, but like I think next CBA agreement they really need to pull into this franchise tag stuff because it's just not, it doesn't sit well with any player.
No, it doesn't sit well with like anybody who's not the one who's signing the contract at this point, honestly. I mean, really. And I'm talking about signing in terms of, let me rephrase that, who's the one giving out the contract.
Well, this is the thing too, is like all these other running backs are looking at it when they come up their contract extensions, it's like, okay, this is what I'm going to deal with now. Like it's a real bad situation.
No, and that's the thing is there needs to, like you're saying, there needs to be a rebalancing. I
Yeah.
agree that yes, the value's gone down, but that also doesn't mean that the ones who really deserve a good 1 year chunk of money or 2 year chunk of money shouldn't get it. That's exactly where we need to get to.
I agree. I think that's just going to be, I think that would be like the most like realistic future is like taking short contracts that pay a lot.
No, that is definitely where we're headed.
Because then also teams aren't locked in if they're contending and they have a lot of money on the books, you know?
No, I think, and like last thing on this, we'll move on, but I think what we'll start seeing to that point is we'll start seeing like a 1 year, $19 million deal.
Yeah.
1 year, $21 million deal. Top end guy, I want 22. Fuck that guy. I want to be above him. And I think that is almost going to be a trend we'll start seeing. It's like the QB contracts. Like everyone trying to big dick each other. But instead of that, it's just the 1 year, like, just give me the 30 mil this year. I will not resign if you don't like give me a fat chunk.
It would be kind of like the edge rushers who like wait to sign till training camp because like, and that's why I think Dalvin Cook is waiting to sign because of injuries. So, a position just opened up. I feel like that's the same thing with edge rushers where they'll just wait. They'll go to a different team and just, because I don't want to say running backs are plug and play, but they're similar to edges where you can probably just throw them in and
absolutely,
you know, better than, cleaner than receivers who have to learn chemistry with the quarterback and everything.
No,
like that.
exactly.
But